To today's edition of the Good Governance and Public Accountability Program on the network service of Radio Nigeria, that is Have Your Say. My name is Amanda Daniel and welcome you on board. Thanks for joining us. Public Accountability Program on the network service of Radio Nigeria, that is Have Your Say. Sector consisting power generation and distribution and oil and gas sector as well is a fulcrum to most economies globally. Therefore, its instability has the propensity to ground an economy to a total halt. All administrations in Nigeria from 1999 till date, including the present administration, have nonetheless spent huge funds to address the challenges bedeviling these sectors. Unfortunately, presently, Nigerians of all walks of life are facing the harrowing effects of epileptic power supply, coupled with a horrendous strident voyage of fuel scarcity. How soon will Nigerians heave a sigh of relief over these challenges? This is what our guest will be discussing in today's edition of the program, Have Your Say. Our guest is the Special Advisor to the President on Media in the Office of the Vice President, in person of Mr. Laolu Akande. Unfortunately, he's been delayed. He'll be joining us in the course of the program anytime soon. In the meantime, while we're waiting, we'll just discuss some of the issues that have become a major problem, like we just mentioned in the introduction, to Nigerians throughout the country. Of course, we know the situation of fuel scarcity. As at 3 days ago, there were at least 300, I repeat, 300 cars waiting to buy fuel from the petrol station right across the NNPC towers here in the FCT. Now, this is not to talk of the other cars which are waiting, I repeat, to shout at the line to get the commodity, that is PMS, petrol. Now, this is a strategic petrol station because it is right in front of the headquarters of the NNPC, that is the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC Limited. Now, the petrol station right next to it is Total Nigeria. Now, in Total, the number is not less, but there is utter chaos as well around the entrance. So many cars, so many people waiting to get to the commodity. In the meantime, you also have those that are efficient from the that is those who sell black market. We already know that the price can as high as 5,000 naira. In some cases, if you're lucky, 4,500, and in some cases, if you are very lucky, 3,500 naira. I can find each liter for as high as 450 naira, 300 naira, and so on and so forth. So this has become a major challenge for Nigerians who have to work on a daily basis to fend for themselves. Transportation has also increased. There's also the challenges of even getting vehicles to take Nigerians from one location to the next. It's no longer news. You now have situations where people have to, for instance, if you're leaving Karamu, or let's say Airport Junction, to come all the way to places like Berger Junction or Wuse and so on, the money has doubled, much higher. I wouldn't want to say 100% now, my mathematics is not that good, but it has increased, no doubt. Same is the situation in other parts. For instance, if you're coming from areas like Kubwa, areas like Dede, even Zuba, to town, it's quite tough. It's also the same situation. So Yayatu is badly hit. Traffic also in some of the places where we have petrol stations are grounded. I counted the other day in the petrol station there about 200 cars, all packed, waiting to buy petrol, PMS, Premium Motor Spirit. A few days ago, our correspondent, in person of Conrad Labe, who is also part of the production crew, was all the way there and gave quite an insight to the situation. And according to what he said, it's quite serious. Even though in the particular petrol station he reported from, it's one of the stations that are slated to provide services 24/7, that's throughout the day, round the clock. Yet, in those areas, you still have so many cars yet to be served petrol. That is just one aspect of what we'll be discussing today. In the meantime, on the sideline is the challenge of power supply. Unfortunately, incidentally, that is also coming at a time when Nigerians are still struggling to get petrol in their cars and in their generators. We have highly epileptic power supply. There are parts of Abuja that don't get up to 10 minutes of power in 2 days. This is from experience of those who live in various parts of the city that can tell you that they do not get power for up to 10 minutes in 2 days. In some cases, we have those who only get for maybe 20 minutes in about an entire week. That's how bad the situation has become. So, what naturally most people want to do is to buy petrol to put in their generating sets to provide alternative power supply. But if the petrol is unavailable, situations like that cannot be helped. So we're hoping that Mr. Laolu Akande will rush anytime soon to join us in the studio so that together we can talk about these issues and for Nigerians to see how, to learn and know how soon these problems will be solved so that we can all give a sigh of relief. I myself had challenges coming all the way here this morning just to ensure that I'm in the studio to do my work and do my duty to our country, Nigeria, and to, of course, Nigerians. So these are the issues we'll be talking about in the program. Of course, the entire crew is already on ground to ensure that everything is set, and we're waiting Mr. Laolu Akande. So once again, thanks for joining us on the program. We'll take a short break.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Hear the call to change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh, I make me go. Searching for change begin from within. Look at the lion, all the ruler. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Let's have some peace. Nigerians are peace-loving and hard-working people.
And countries only develop and grow when there is peace and stability.
There are different kinds of problems in every society, and so in every country.
If there are problems here, Nigeria is not an exception.
There is no society, no country where violence and public disorder has solved that problem.
No matter the problem, no matter the issue.
Let us sit down like brothers and sisters. Use dialogue to resolve the problems.
Remember, you have to give account of every action you take, if not here on earth, then before your creator.
Please let us work together for a peaceful Nigeria. Let us work together. Nigeria will be great.
Nigeria is filled with cultures so beautifully diverse.
People so creatively endowed.
Land so richly blessed.
But all these means nothing in the face of violence.
Let's live in peace, for only in peace can development happen.
The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain.
Let us serve our fatherland with love, strength, and faith.
One people, one nation.
This is a public service announcement from Radio Nigeria.
Yes, thanks once again for being part of today's program. Have your say. Coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Like we said earlier, we'll be talking about the energy crisis in the country, fuel scarcity, and power supply as well. The challenge, the epileptic power supply in the various parts of the country. And our guest was supposed to be the special advisor to the president on media in the office of the vice president, a person of Mr. Laolu Akande. Unfortunately, due to exigencies, we're unable to have him join us. So, in the meantime, we'll try to open the phone lines so that Nigerians from various parts of the country can call in on the program to give a situation report of the challenges they're facing as regards power supply and the unavailability of PMS petrol. PMS, yes, petrol. So, the line to call, as usual, 0705 149 3324. The line once again to call to be part of today's program, 0705 149 3324. Don't forget, you can also send us messages on YouTube at Have Your Say hashtag. Remember, it's in one word and every letter in lowercase. Have Your Say hashtag in one word, every letter in lowercase. So that's it. So the lines are open in the meantime. Okay, let's take our first caller. Good morning. Your name, location. Your name, hello?
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning, sir.
My name is Barrister Israel.
Barrister Israel.
I'm calling from Cuba.
All right, Cuba. Go ahead, sir.
First of all, I will address the power issue. It's just unfortunate that the situation has been thrown into darkness. This area where I live, it is like we described the other place, 10 minutes light and 2 days off. Now we buy things and we eat them that same day. Then your freezer cannot work, the fridge cannot work, nothing is working. We run generator 24 hours. And to buy for you today, I bought 10 liters for 3,500, and I was almost on my knees begging the small boys along the road to give it to me. They were sitting at 4,000. And the security issue is another matter. Because it appears this is even worse than Ukraine. Why are we living in this country? Everywhere there is security and nobody is talking. No senator is talking, no person in power is talking, nobody is talking to Nigeria. And we are just living as if we are no human being. And we have people who are elected, they represent us, they are living in affluence and a lot of people are doing that.
Barrister Israel, what do you think? Hello, Barrister Israel, are you there? Hello, Barrister. Hello? Okay. Maybe Barrister can still call back. I was going to ask you, if you're still listening, that what do you think can be done to solve the problem? You have some Nigerians say the NNPC has now been privatized. What's the reason for the challenge? We'll get back to that anyway. Hello. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
We're doing great. Your name?
My name is Nasir Ahmed. I'm calling you from Yobe State.
Nasir Ahmed.
Yes, I'm calling you from Yobe State.
Okay, yes, please go ahead. Give us the situation report. From there, I'm sure you'll have the introduction.
Yes. But this problem the current problem that is happening in Nigeria is almost everywhere. There is shortage of electricity and problems and here and there.
Oh, hello, yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. And we don't know where the problem is started.
So,
Hello?
yes, go ahead. Yes, what do you think, Nasir Ahmed?
Yes.
What do you think can be done to bring some solution to this challenge?
But what I want to say is that all these problems of shortage of electricity and whatever, we are not facing it in every state. We have constant electricity in every state.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But the problem is just hardship. The people are really suffering.
How about petrol? Is there scarcity there?
You say what?
How about petrol? Is it available there? Petrol, PMS?
Petrol?
Yes.
Yes, a little bit. There is petrol in some filling station, but the price is the matter.
Oh, okay. So you don't have too many.
Some are selling it 230. Some are selling it 230, 240, 225.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Nasir Ahmed. Hello. The line remains open. The line to call 0705 149 3324. We're discussing renewable energy and scarcity of petroleum products in the country. Call from wherever you are in the country and give us a situation report. What's the situation in the place you are presently? Like we just learned that there is power supply in Yobe State, and but the price, there's also premium, but not just paid, but a bit expensive. Yes, we have a caller. Hello.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Barrister Israel, back to you.
Oh yes, Barrister Israel. I was going to ask you earlier that we've had the challenge, and it's quite sad and unfortunate. But what do you think is the solution to these challenges?
My brother, it's a big question you're asking me because I'm not in power. Those in power should answer that question. That is why I'm not happy that Laolu Akande refused to come, because he knew that if he comes, he has no answer to this thing. He can't use it for solution. That is why he didn't come. Let him come and answer. Let him come to talk to Nigerians. So this is that nobody has come out to talk to Nigerians. This is actually what is happening. Nobody has rendered apology. Look at the vision now. This is not this. For you to run this thing, if something you are running for 50,000 return ticket, it's now 1 week. But what are we doing in this country? Let them come out and talk. Let them come out and talk Nigerians.
Barrister, are you there? I sincerely apologize. We don't know why. I think he had certain engagements that came up at the last minute. In fact, he had promised to be here to give answers to these issues. But I agree that, of course, there are serious challenges, but we all have a stake in the Nigerian project. So what do you think can be done if you were in power or had the opportunity to serve at that capacity? What do you think can be done to solve this challenge? Okay, I think Barrister Israel. I didn't know when he cut off. Okay. Yes, hello. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, name, location, and go ahead. You have the...
Yes, I'm calling from Buhari.
Okay, your name?
My name is Ejumofo Victor.
Ejumofo Victor. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. What we are looking about is the solution. What we are looking onto is solution.
Yes.
Because we have been talking for a long time ago. Now we need solution. Now, what I think is solution is to look for those who knows how to play this ball and put them in the field. Okay. Because when you give somebody who don't know how to ride bicycle, what do you expect the person and the bicycle? Somebody who have not learned how.
Hello? Hello? Are you talking about the 2023 general election now?
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Hear the call to change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make me go. What you supposed to let it change begin from within. Look at you, all the ruler. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
It's the only radio network in Nigeria. The network that attracts over 40 million high net worth individuals. Unarguably, the only radio channel that draws key decision makers through incisive and up-to-date news, scintillating sportscasting, and exciting programming. Radio Nigeria Network Service, the haven for discerning investors who wish to reach their target audience at the lowest cost per thousand. Your brand and corporate image deserve nothing less than a sustained exposure on Radio Nigeria Network Service. Try us today.
Now, National Orientation Agency plus Federal Ministry of Information and Culture bring you this message.
As the roar of a lion reverberates across the animal kingdom, so does the news in the network service of Radio Nigeria reach all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria and beyond. Radio Nigeria, the strength of a lion in every newscast.
Thanks for staying with us. If you just joined us, the program is Have Your Say, coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Today we're discussing the challenges in the power sector and also the challenges in the energy sector, that is the scarcity of petroleum products in various parts of the country. Earlier we've received a number of calls from Nigerians, and they've given a situation report from various parts of the country where they are. I just received the information. Okay, we got this information, which was even reported here on the network service of Radio Nigeria, that the nation's grid collapsed. That's the national power grid collapsed some weeks ago, but has been restored. It was restored within a short while, within 2 days. Of course, which is quite commendable that they were very proactive and ensured that the situation is salvaged. Probably that is the reason why in a state like Yobe State there is power supply, which is called from there. Nasir Ahmed said there is power supply, but there's still the challenge of scarcity of petroleum products. We also got a call from Barrister Israel from Kubwa here in the FCT, who said that the situation is quite bad there, especially in terms of power supply and even availability of petroleum products, that is petrol. So these are our calls so far. Our line still remains open. Today we're focusing on fuel scarcity and electricity, like we said earlier, the epimetric power supply, and how these problems can be solved for Nigerians to heat.
All those crude oil they use in extracting this oil, the NNPC should have and modify for them. In Nigeria today, we have over 4 million trained petrochemical engineers. They are just unemployed, redundant, doing nothing. We're not making use of them. Yesterday, the National Assembly said first-class holders should be given employment, and we have many of them there. Why are we wasting our resources? Look at what is happening in Ukraine. Look at what is happening in Russia. It's affecting the entire economic system. Now you ask yourself, if the Gulf is being blocked, where do we get oil and gas to survive in this country? So there is need for us to look inwards. The earlier we come back home and start this issue of Bragadabra system, it will help us. Because one, the NNPC, you have a research and development section. What are they doing? It's not their job to go into the and strategize. The area it's not a question of having big office. They are not doing nothing. That it doesn't make sense. Now, my advice to the authority concerned is this: we have come to a level that we no longer depend outside. Look at Niger. Niger does not produce oil. Niger is a desert, but they produce both gas and everything. We still import petrol, gas from Niger. It is a very shameful thing to us Nigerians, where we have spent over 60-something years as an independent country, and we cannot stay in our own idea. It's just like a child, you say to the university, after graduation, you still coming to the answer, mommy, mother. It's not healthy.
Well, we still want to hear your solution. You were on the solution.
Yeah, my own solution?
Yes, well, you are going to give us an idea, an advice. That's an advice to the government on what to do.
The advice to the government is this. The Niger Delta boys, all those people they say they are running illegal refinery, DSS, will arrest them. Bring them. Let them come and enhance their own knowledge. Gather them. Then they will now give them the opportunity. That license you get all those Abuja that are not doing so. Let those boys start the production of our oil. Now, do you know that this crude oil we extract? We produce over 6,000 items. But all these are being used outside. We are not doing anything. And it will help us by the time we enhance the resources we have now. We are talking about the refurbish of our refineries. I know it's a very taxing effect in terms of monetary aspect. But the modern refinery, if we can put it in use, it will help us. Please, authority concerned, the scarcity of land is not, the actual concern is not scarcity. It's just that people like to climb down on issues to do what? To make their own pockets at the detriment of the masses, which is not helpful. Let's come back home and do the needful. Our refineries put it in use. It will help us. We are not giving to the list. In each country, in each state in Nigeria, we have over 100 people who can do the needful. They are dedicated to rebuild our refineries. Let's bring them into the system. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Mazi, for that advice. It's quite interesting to know that from many Nigerians don't know that. I didn't know that myself, that you can get at least 6,000 byproducts from crude oil. Yes, the line still open. Yes, hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name, of course, is Chief Jude Ubada. I usually call from Imo State, and this morning I'm doing exactly so. I want to enjoin the federal government to declare a state of emergency in our reliable energy sector and encourage scientists, universities, research institutes and others to actually research extensively and produce electricity from some refuse, coal and other sources in abundance, which will align with the economic laws and of demand and supply, force down their prices instead of depending on the national grid alone and suffer the type of fate Nigerians suffered in the past few days when our national grid failed. Indeed, electricity is the engine room that drives the scientific, ecological and industrial development of any country and should be privatized in the hands of big companies, wealthy Nigerians and others, who will actually produce electricity in abundance from sources like coal, refuse, sun, instead of depending on the national grid. And like the GSM becomes affordable and available to Nigerians and ensure our national development. I advocate for a complete turnaround maintenance of our existing refineries, building of new ones, encouragement of the building of modern refineries, and encouraging those refining these products in the Niger Delta region illegally to begin to refine them legally and pay taxes to government. As all this will encourage the production of petroleum products in abundance, which will also align with the economic laws of demand and supply, force down their prices instead of depending on the national grid for this alone, that will actually impact negatively on all of us at the end of the day. Why government takes steps to provide security for all this so that they will not be disturbed during the course of production. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you, Chief Judah Brother. Yes, it's worthy to mention at this juncture that while Nigerians are facing the challenges of power supply and the challenges also of fuel scarcity, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari in his Twitter handle made some comments to address Nigerians. Before I get to that, let's take this call. Hello, Miss. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Edimovo. I was calling before you got my call. Either it is
no, I think it must have been the network. I don't think we were around soon.
It's okay. Thank you for your well done job. Then my suggestion is this. Just like the last two callers said, I was telling you that somebody who don't know how to ride bicycle, if you give him bicycle, the person will wound himself with that bicycle. So let us, number one, let us forget about hatred. And let us forget about assumption. What I mean by assumption is that if they give this kind of person is a thief, is a bad person. Some people have been blackmailed right from the beginning. So now, what is happening in Nigeria is that there are any job, any field, any office is being given according to what they call favoritism. Favoritism is not good at all. Let the head that the cap fits. Let the head wear the cap.
Victor, Mr. Victor, we're looking at solutions here, particularly with the fuel scarcity and the epileptic power supply. Now that the national grid, power grid has been restored, how do we improve the situation? That's the question that we asked earlier, after giving the situation report from where you are. Hello? Are you there? Victor? Okay. I'm sure hello? Victor, are you still there? Hello?
Hello?
Victor? Is that Victor?
Hello?
Okay, there's another caller. Hello, your name and location and go ahead. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, yes, hello, name, location, and then go ahead.